So let us begin with Helen's keynotes study streak. Today's session will discuss aloes socotrina from Helen's keynotes. Sounds very similar. Aloes, Ellen, aloes, Ellen, right? We discussed yesterday something about the rectum. So let us jump into it. And the first line which is mentioned is that it is adapted to indolent, weary persons, averse to either mental or physical labor, mental labor fatigues. It is interesting to see that all the remedies that are hemorrhoidal in nature are more or less indolent, except Naxomica and a couple of few more. But most of the remedies are indolent. Most of the patients are also indolent. They have not been moving enough to keep their circulation in motion. That is why they have these issues. So you have this feature which runs through the patient's entire symptomatology. It can be mentioned by the patient multiple times, or he will say you that his occupation is so and so, and then you will be able to connect to something that is affecting him. Alosocotrina acts especially in old people and especially women of relaxed and phlegmatic habit. Those who are, too tired to move, too lazy to move, they don't have, much time to do these physical stuff. If they develop complaints related to portal congestions or rectal congestions, aloes is the remedy. Also, you have Aeschylus we discussed yesterday and cholinsonia. There are key features. Somewhere or the other, you will have to find out the differentiating factors and prescribe. Dissatisfied and angry about himself or his complaints, especially when constipated. So, you will have a patient who is more or less irritable, who is not happy with how this stuff is going on in his life, and in the physical journals he will tell you that he has constipation, he has the urge to pass the stools, but he cannot clear it very well enough. That is a combination of different components of the body which should point towards alosocontina. But more often you will see that diseases of the mucous membranes cause the production of mucus in jelly like lumps from the throat or rectum and affects the mucous membranes of the rectal region. So you saw the opposite spectrum, which is the nasal aspect, catarrhal remedy, pulsatilla. Similar expression you will see in alosocotrina, the rectal aspect. The rectal area, the rectum has lot of discharges. It can be mucus discharge in the form of diarrhea, or it can be hemorrhoidal complaints that affect that part and causing some discharge. That is alosocotrina for you. If you understand this correlation, it becomes easier for you to prescribe. Each appears every year as the winter approaches. Another remedy is sorinum. We saw this also in Mesarium raphitis, sorinum, and now we see it in aloes. Extreme prostration with perspiration. So you will have someone who is telling you that I perspire a lot, I'm constipated, I'm also having a lot of issues at work, I cannot work with good focus, I'm so much dissatisfied. That is your prescription for aloes. It will not always be someone who is directly coming and telling you the whole line from Allen's keynotes. You have to match the components as follows. Headache across the forehead, aggravated by every step. We saw this also in Menianthus when I was discussing the remedies, Glonoine, Melilotus, Menianthus, and other migraine and headache related remedies. Also, you have the remedies belladonna and bryonia. There is heaviness of the eyes and nausea. Heaviness of the eyes mostly predisposes for you to prescribe gelsemium, but you can think of prescribing aloes if the rectal complaints are prominent. Headaches in aloes are worse from heat, better from cold applications, like the remedy arsenic album. We have discussed this in one of the sessions of arsenic album. And over here, the specialty is that few days ago, the patient will tell you that there was more or less, uh, backache which used to uh, trouble me, and now the headache has started. So this kind of an alternation of action, headache alternating with backache, should prescribe should lead you to prescribe aloes socotrina. Constant sense of backache will let you prescribe Aeschylus, and alternation of headache and backache should let you prescribe alosocotrina. Alternation of constipation and diarrhea should help you prescribe cholinsunia. So you have some patient who complains that few days ago I had a lot of backache. Now backache is more or less better, but I am still not able to clear my bowels and there is a lot of headache. Do you think if I'm not able to clear the bowel, is it the reason for the headache? It sometimes does happen to me. That should be the way where you will be able to prescribe alosocotrina. So next we have is diarrhea. Has to hurry to the closet immediately after eating or drinking, like the remedy crotontic. So innumerable cases of gastric disorders who have reported after eating somewhere out in a wedding party where oily food was prepared have been given crotontic by me. But if there is lot of pain in the abdomen and not the hurriness, but there is lot of pain, then the remedy is trombidium. Go and read from Boric and you will get a lot of good symptoms to prescribe. Very peculiar key symptoms can be told as common symptoms in gastroenteritis, but radicarus is the source, radicarus of the fly from which it is prepared, trombidium, and it will give you good result. But in alosocotrina, what you will see is diarrhea and he has to hurry. There is no waiting period which the patient has. In crotontic also it's similar, but in crotontic it will be in the form of a full flow of gush of the entire contents of the bowels. In aloes, it will tell you that sometimes I pass platters and it kind of oozes out. In aloes, the control over the sphincter is lost. That is why you see with want of confidence in sphincter ani. Whereas in crotontic, you will see that he can control well, and this is going to be your differentiating factor where you will need to ask the patient, confirm and prescribe aloes or crotontic. Mostly aloes diarrhea is early in the morning when they wake up, as soon as they have diarrhea, something they have eaten the previous night before or day before, which causes disturbances in the gastric sphere. Think of alosocotrina as one of the top remedies. Sorinum, rumex and sulfur. Rumex we discussed few days ago with the other remedies of the respiratory tract, and it has a very good action on the diarrhea gastric sphere. It also acts on the respiratory sphere chiefly, but mainly it also kind of gives relief in diarrheal related cases. So rumex should never be ignored. In aloes, you have when passing the flatus, he feels that the stool will also pass, and many times the patient do complain that there is an confidence which I lose because I am not sure if I will pass flatus or pass the stool, which makes me very nervous. If I have diarrhea, I need to take some medicine immediately, otherwise I'm going to be embarrassed because of the whole situation which is created. You will have similar presentation in oleander, muriatic acid and natrum. So all these acids you see somewhere or the other after an bout of infection, there is a loss of control of the sphincter ani or the different sphincters of the body, or especially the nervous control is lost. So in picric acid you will see the brain affected, in muriatic acid the gastric sphere mostly affected, and so on in different remedies. Next you have is in aloes from Allen's keynotes, colic, cutting, griping pain in the lower portion of the abdomen, excruciating before and during stool. All pain cease after the stool. So the patient will tell you that once I pass the stool, there is an immense sense of relief. For few hours there is no trouble, and then again I have to hurry and go and pass the stool. That will be the urgency which the patient will emphasize on. He will emphasize on maybe the hurriness He will emphasize on the flatus and the stool which can pass any time, and he will emphasize on the pain which gets better after the stool, and it leaves him totally weak and debilitated, and a few days ago he was constipated. So you see this kind of a similar phenomena in collinsonia also. There is alternate constipation and diarrhea. You see that in aloes also, but in aloes there are alternation in various areas, especially the headache and the lumbar region and the constipation. This is going to be your key hold or landmarks for prescribing aloes. Next you have is flatus, offensive, burning, copious, much flatus with small stool. Agaricus is the other remedy. Burning in the anus after passing the flatus, which is very interesting. You can find out from the patient if he complains of this problem. Solid stool and masses of mucus pass involuntarily, hungry during diarrhea. So someone who is also having a very good appetite, at times the patient don't tell you that I am very much hungry during the acute episode, but if their appetite is running normal and they are eating well, you can think of remedies which are suited to that condition. Hungry during coryza, earth iode is one of the top remedies. Hungry during diarrhea, aloe socotrina is one of the top remedies. So you have some complaints during stool, some complaints after stool. Now next is mentioned is something which is before stool, which is rumbling and violent and sudden urging, heaviness in the rectum during stool, tenesmus and much flatus, and after stool there is faintness. So the entire process patient is going to tell you in very simple language, which will be enough for you to prescribe alosocotrina. Before stool I have lot of rumbling, it's kind of a gurgling in the abdomen, there are a lot of noises coming, I need to go and pass the stool, and once I pass the stool I feel again something will come, and again I need to pass. I'm in the closet only, I'm passing the stool, and again I pass a few small quantities, I try to come out, there is a lot of flatus also which goes, and then after stool I'm totally weak, as if the entire body has lost a lot of electrolytes. In crotontic, exactly opposite picture, you will see the rumbling, but it will be in one gush, one strong flow, which is going to be your pointer. Next you have for alosocotrina hemorrhoids which appear in a bunch. You can ask a picture from the patient if he can provide you, or if you can have the ability to examine the patient in a closed situation. Go and examine, you can get a good deal of understanding about the hemorrhoids and their appearance. All our olden homeopaths, the stalwarts, used to do. They used to examine the stool, they used to examine the urine, they used to examine the patient's exact appearance of the complaint. Nowadays, because of the decency and the the privacy which a patient needs to maintain, these things are very less explained, but you can explain the pros and cons and have an assistant who can also be by the side to supervise what is happening, and it is possible. So hemorrhoids which are bluish in nature, so bluish color indicates that there is lot of stagnancy since a long time, and if this stagnancy persists for a long time, it is going to cause the change of color of that part, and that is where aloes can be indicated. They will be seen like a bunch of grapes. The big grapes like structure you will see in the inner region. Similar presentation is also there in muriatic acid. Constant bearing down in rectum, bleeding, sore, tender, hot, relieved by cold water, and there is intense itching. So someone who complains of intense itching also with the hemorrhoids, think of alosocotrina as the medicine. The itching is so intense that sometimes it prevents sleep in aloes patient. And now we come to the modalities where early morning aggravation is one of the top things that you will always encounter and face all the patients telling the same things. You will see sedentary life, which is exactly what was mentioned in the first line, indolent patient, phlegmatic patients, and you will see hot and dry weather which affects these patients, because it is how the remedy works. After eating or drinking, and standing or walking, which causes problems for alosocotrina. Amelioration for the patient is cold water, cold weather, discharge of flatus or stool. This causes amelioration but also causes lot of weakness, lot of perspiration, and that is where he gets debilitated and approaches you exactly after 2 or 3 episodes of such similar instances that happen with him. One of the top remedies that you can think as a relation is sulfur. If you are stuck up in a case and you feel that the patient is not improving anymore, give a dose of sulfur and then again give the medicine aloe. You will find some good change because there is a very similarity in aloe and sulfur from the portal congestion point of view and suppressed eruption point of view, and it's going to help a lot. Aloes is also similar to ammonium mure, strange, very interesting presence of ammonium mure over here, Gambogia, Nux vomica, and Podophyllum. So, in many places you will see that patients will tell you that these things are happening to them, and you will see that this kind of presentation fits Nux vomica also, this presentation fits Aeschylus also, this presentation fits Collinsonia, Alosocotrina, and what should I give? Make your prescriptive pointers and try to stick to some of the very strong keynotes of the patient. For example, in aloes, you will have someone who is passing a lot of flatters and stool together with the stool and lot of weakness after the stool. He has to hurry for the stool and lot of weakness after the stool. That will be the statement from the patient. That should be your way to prescribe alosocotrina. So let's call it a day, and the next remedy we'll discuss will be posted on the story of Instagram or in the YouTube live title, and mostly it will be on Saturday or else Sunday, because we have a fever workshop which is going on every Thursday and Friday, and tomorrow is the third day of the fever workshop. If you have not enrolled and wish to join to learn fevers, what to prescribe, how to prescribe, when to prescribe, this is all about fever workshop. You can get the details on the Instagram, Facebook, or the YouTube posts community tab, and all the details are available, or in YouTube shorts as well. And that's it from me right now. And if you are learning, if there is an interesting study which is going on from the Allen's keynotes, do drop in the comments of the video so that I know that it is helping you, and maybe it is kind of helping me also to share some experiences which are very much valuable.